Hi. It's your girl CM with the rundown. We're going to do this real quick, real fast, real dirty. I'm here to talk to you about Ase Wrestling episode 3, as well as this past weekend's Collision, which aired on January 25th, 2025. So let's hop into it. First off, I'm going to talk about Ase Wrestling. I'm only going to talk about one episode because it was only one episode. Please keep in mind that Ase does come on Thursdays at 8 p.m. on their YouTube channel, which is Ase Wrestling. They do not have a regular episode this Thursday, but they are having an episode 3.5, so check it out. Don't know what it is. We're going to start off talking about Team NC versus Team GA, which was the main event. You have Team GA, you have Team NC. I don't remember everybody's name, but of course, give a shout out to Cream Pie Poppy because names are crazy, as well as Pineapple Pete, Shug Dunkerton. Shug Dunkerton is a veteran on the indie scene. Cream Pie Poppy is one of the up and comers. Go out of your way to watch this match. I don't remember everybody's name just because there was a whole lot of action that happened. And honestly, I'm kind of bad with names. But all of these wrestlers brought unique things to the match. And for it to be a multi-man match, it showcased all of those things. So I think the match may have shown for maybe 10-15 minutes on the show. Watch it. Sit down and watch it because it honestly was one of those really good multi-man matches that you don't really think it's going to be that good because it's like, oh, you got super big guys, you got little guys. Like, yeah, it's not going to be good, but it really was. Like, you had high flyers, you had ground and pound, which was not all the high flyers because normally high flyers are like, oh, we're going to do crazy flippy stuff. But the ground and pound was some of the high flyers versus some of the bigger guys. So watch it. It was really, really good. And of course, for me, women's match of the week, even though it's an older match, goes to Kiera Hogan versus Charity King. You have Kiera playing the heel, super cool, all that, and a bag of chips. And then you have Charity King, who's also all that and a bag of chips, playing the great face dynamic. And you have Kiera, who is kind of more high flyer. Sorry, guys. You have more of a high flyer versus Charity, who is more of a ground and pound. Definitely one that you may not think about watching. Dude, go out of your way to watch it. This was a really great match. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. So please check it out if you haven't. I honestly I don't want to give away the match. It's really hard because it's so good. Both of those matches were so good, and it's really hard to not give it away. So I'm really fighting myself to not give away what happened. Every episode of Ase is my favorite episode of Ase, so please watch it. Honestly, for me, I loved it. It was the type of wrestling I like to watch. It's unpredictable, but it's kind of predictable, but it's not really predictable. But it's really, really interesting, and it grabs your attention and holds it. I loved it. Please go out of your way to watch it. Now, we're going to jump into Collision. I'm not going to touch on everything, and of course, I'm going to save the best for last. You have Takeshita versus Shibata, and please, folks, don't take this anyway. Like, these Collision the matches themselves are not ranked, but of course everybody's talking about one particular thing. For Collision, you have Takeshita versus Shibata. With Takeshita versus Shibata, such a good match. I want them to run this back multiple times, but I feel like if you run it back multiple times, it's going to lose something, but it's not going to lose something because it's so good and they can pull things out their butts because they're that good. Yeah. If you only watch one match for Collision, watch this one. Watch this one. This might be the AEW match to watch this week because there are moments in wrestling where you genuinely don't know what's going to happen. This match was one of those because it really could have gone everybody's way. I wouldn't have been mad with anybody winning. Take that as you will. Hounds of Hell versus Gates of Agony also happened on this episode. Also, I'm not talking about every match on Collision this week, guys, because I just don't want to. We have Hounds of Hell versus Gates of Agony. Now, Hounds of Hell are Brody King and Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart. That's their new faction name. And then you have Gates of Agony. I was not always a Gates of Agony fan. I thought they were kind of just there to be kind of jobbers. I don't know what flipped the switch, but give me more. Especially more matches between these two guys, or these two teams. They did an amazing job. Gates of Agony and Hounds of Hell are basically kind of like the same team. Where you have the big guy and then you have like the bigger high flyer, but it worked. I didn't know who was heel in this one, just because you had moments where everybody works as a heel. I'm hoping Tony Khan pushes them both more in this year because both teams are really, really great and really excellent. I think if you like tag team wrestling or faction wrestling, this is a good one for you to watch. And it was the first time of Hounds of Hell being presented as Hounds of Hell versus House of Black. So please go out of your way. Please watch it. Take a minute. It doesn't have to be long. Even though the match was a little bit longer, and I personally would watch the whole thing again. I'm going to watch the whole thing again because Max. Take a second and watch it. It's really, really good. Honestly, the matches I chose to discuss this week were all my favorites. So that's why I'm talking about them. Last but not least, as far as matches, you have Samoa Joe and Nick Wayne. That did open up Collision this week. It is Samoa Joe's return, and it got delayed by a few days because of like the winter storm, which was a fun time. Nick Wayne got to survive a little bit longer versus Samoa when he was going to get Samoa Joe. You don't get the cool walk away spot, which is what I wanted to happen. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But you got a lot more. Samoa Joe is one of those veteran wrestlers who makes the newbies look really, really, really great. And I love that. I love the fact that Nick Wayne was in there. Although I can't say Nick Wayne is a newbie because Nick Wayne's been wrestling for a long time. I'm just trying to think of like ways to not give away the endings and things. Because y'all get kind of mad at me when I do that. When it comes to what's gonna happen next, I honestly don't know. The patriarchy storyline could end right now. Just of how everything's gone down, it would be okay. But Samoa Joe did give a lot of offense to Nick Wayne, and Nick Wayne, when he was given the opportunity, kind of took the ball and ran with it. I personally would say that this is a great match to watch if you want to see a wily veteran versus a really wily newcomer. And you don't want to watch Chris Jericho because, yeah. It had a lot of different dynamics, but it didn't ever get to be overly too much. It played just right. You also had on this episode Yuka Sakatali versus Deonna Purrazzo. Hold on one second, guys. Let me pull up everybody here. Queen Aminata and Serena Deeb. That match had my favorite, Queen Aminata. And as for the CBS, like, number one contender match, it just didn't have enough build for me. Give me more Queen Aminata. Put her back on my regular screen. You also have the Undisputed Kingdom versus Angela Parker, Dane Garcia, and Matt Menard. You can miss it. It's not really anything big. Okada versus Commander. Also a good match. Something that you probably did not think was going to be a super duper good match. Came out really good. I love that they're pushing Commander when Hologram comes back. He had a promo. Please do not push Commander all the way off the screen. Now, everybody was talking about this, and I would like to be the one to say, I told you so. So I'm going to. I told you so. When everybody doubted me and said I was crazy and that I was just hoping for things and Tony wasn't going to book it. Tony did not book this. RJ City booked this. And I don't give a damn. I'm going to give him and Tony Storm all the credit for this because this was perfect. You have in the ring Tony Storm, super duper excited to meet Mariah May. She never had met her before. And you have Mariah May acting like, oh, this is so great. And then she's just like, you know what, you're freaking insane. I beat you. I beat you so bad that I made you go back to your old gimmick. You suck. Da 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 da. And then Tony Storm, after she gets beat down a little bit, is like, I did not forget who you were. How could I forget who you were? You gave me a run for my money. You made me feel foolish. And now I've returned to myself. And now I'm going back to myself. Go out of your way to watch this promo. This promo was excellent. It hits on every level. And it plays into the subtleties that I told y'all to look out for, like the makeup on her face getting more and more timeless looking. The fact that her accent would change on little things. She played timeless Tony Storm, played Tony Storm to perfection. I loved it. Y'all have to watch this because it is so good. And she told Mariah May she was going to beat her. She's going to take that title back. And, you know, she never forgot what was happening, but she had to play it as if she did. Folks, if you watch, again, nothing this week, go out of your way to watch Ase, episode 3. Collision, I would say Takesha versus Shibata, although I could also argue for Hounds of Hell versus Gates of Agony. And watch that timeless Tony Storm promo because it was so good and so excellent. It just is everything. I don't know what's going to happen when they go to Australia because they could give the title back to Tony. Tony could have her culmination, but then what? Or they could continue to have Mariah May kind of run with roughshod and she broke Tony, and then what? Either way, for the women, we need to be building, we need to be having storylines, we need to have progression, because if we don't, we're going to end up in the rut, and I don't want us to end up back in the rut. So Tony Khan, please don't let us end up in the rut. You really have to figure out what you're doing with your women. You really need to figure out what you're doing with your mid card. Please start getting some bookers in and handling these things so we can continue on. That's just me. That was your rundown this week. Hopefully, you all will fall in love with the things that I have presented to you all. Of course, again, Collision comes on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturdays where AEW does not have a pay-per-view on a Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT and Max. I watch on Max. Do as you will. And of course, Ase comes on their YouTube channel, Ase Wrestling, ASE Wrestling. On YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. You get 2 matches, you get promos, and typically a musical performance. Again, this Thursday, which will be January the 30th, they do not have a regular show. They are having a 3.5. So tune in and watch. I'll be there. Until next time, peace out.